What's up, Sticks and Hacks? This is the US Mid Am Qualifier. The US Mid Am is one of the most prestigious events that the USGA puts on because the winner gets to play in the Masters. But before I can start packing my bags to Augusta, I've got to qualify by finishing in the top 4 of 100 of the best players in North Texas. We are at Stonebriar Fazio. It's a breezy day in North Texas, and these guys are good, so it's time to go low. The first hole is a straightaway par 4. There's wind hard out of the left, and using the Tangent app, I know the driver brings a bunker into play, so it's just a 3-wood off the tee. Get something in play and start stacking up good shots. I pipe this 3-wood into position A, leaving just about 120 yards in. It's a nice little 48 degree, fairly middle pen with a green that's well protected by bunkers, so we're just favoring the right side and looking for a putt. Let's ease into it. I'm definitely nervous. Walking around the course and the range, it's obvious that just about everybody here played college golf, except for me. I may not have the resume, but I am excited to see how my game stacks up. That's an easy 2-putt par on the first hole. I came up just short on that first putt. First round jitters, but we'll take an easy par. If the first hole was a nice little handshake to get started, the second hole is a bit of a beast. We're gonna turn right back into the teeth of the wind, and it's whipping pretty hard. This becomes a pretty narrow little dogleg right. None of it really fits my eye, so you just have to execute. I pick a target and I swing hard. And I hit a pretty good one. I end up just left in the rough on line with the spotter, and I'm rewarded with this awkward lie. It's downhill, it's below my feet in some healthy rough. I'm only 175 yards away, but this ball has to carry a creek, and I'm still into a pretty healthy wind. People tend to underestimate the impact of the wind, and since there's more room behind than in front, I'm gonna hit a 5-iron. That's a lot of club, and it comes out low and hot, about like I expected, and despite being anxious in the air, the ball finds the putting surface. That may not have looked like it, but that was a tough shot. Now we've got 45 feet for birdie. I'd have signed up for this all day long off the tee, but I've been struggling with speed control, and this is downhill, downgrain, downwind. It looks like it's lightning. And we're only on the second hole of the day. I really haven't hit a lot of putts in competition so far, so we'll test the nerves. It's a good lag, but it comes up 4 feet short, which surprised me. And now we have one of those tournament testers. The great players make these putts to keep around together. They don't give away anything easy. And that is disappointing. I did the hard work into the wind. You gotta pay it off with the flag stick. That takes us to 1 over for the qualifier, and it's really the first shot that we just gave away. The third hole is a par 5, and even though it's long, it's playing downwind. I attacked this with the driver, but I did get a little ahead of it, and it got blocked out by some trees. I'm somewhat lucky that it's still in play. Now we have a long way in, and it's definitely going to be a 3-shot hole. The big mistake now would be to press and try to hit this shot too far. We still have some overhanging tree trouble, so we're just gonna try to get it back into a good spot out of this recovery lie. A smart punch gets us back in the fairway with a chance to get on the green and have a birdie putt after the mistake off the tee. That'd be a great result. Days like this are tough though. The wind's howling, and so from 169 yards, I'm hitting my 150 club, a 9-iron, trying to avoid the bunkers and just get a putt. Keep stacking up good shots, and we'll get better birdie chances later in this round. I find the green and have 39 feet for birdie, which is a pretty good result after that tee shot. The wind is still whipping, and another one of these tournament testers. Even though this is all at 2 feet, I'm taking my time. I don't want to give anything away. Every shot counts. The fourth hole turns back across the wind, so now it's coming out of the left, and this is my least favorite wind. There's a bunker on the right-hand side that I want to avoid, but the hole is long, so laying up isn't really a reasonable option. I'm fairly good from a fairway bunker, so I'm taking on the risk. And I hit this well, but the wind pushes it into the bunker I was trying to avoid. 170 yards to the green, I've got a 7-iron in my hand, and while that lip shouldn't be a problem, I have plenty of room, I've got nerves too, and I don't want to make the big mistake. I get it out, but it's not very good. We're scrambling now with our first real adversity of the round. 60 yards left from the fairway, so I've hit worse shots than that bunker shot, but good players are gonna give themselves a chance to save par here. Erase the mistake, and while I've been working on my distance control inside 100 yards, it's still not a strength of my game. And into the wind, This comes up about 8 paces short of where I intended, and then it spins back even further. Now we have 33 feet to save par, and I make a good aggressive run at it, but it leaves a 3-foot tester that I bury. We're confident on the short ones, but we'll log that as another stroke thrown away. I need a more aggressive line off the tee and a better bunker shot. We're 2 over through 4, and it's gonna take under par to advance from this qualifier. One challenge with tournament golf is being patient, not only with my golf game, but also with the field. On this super windy day, a lot of players are grinding, trying to make the US Mid Am. It was not fast for pace of play. We waited on this 5th tee for more than 20 minutes before we could finally hit. Players were looking for balls and taking their time. These are all excuses for mishitting this drive. The 5th hole is another tough one. We turned right back into the wind, and at 400 yards, it's a beast, even though it has a generous fairway. And I catch this really skinny. I'm lucky to stay short of this bunker on the left. Now we have 200 yards in, and that wind is blowing. Blowing hard enough that I'm gonna hit 3-wood, a club I normally hit 240 yards in the air. I choose it for a couple of reasons. 1, the wind, and then 2, I have over 220 yards to the back edge from here, so plenty of room to go a little bit long and still be putting and try to take the greenside bunkers out of play. If I chose less club, I might come up short in a bunker. You just saw how I did from the bunker. And I smoked this. I just hit it really good, too good. I'm on the green, but a long way from the hole. What was I telling you about my speed control in the greens? That it isn't great? Yeah. Well, on a windy day, you're gonna have long putts. But I'll say this, I wasn't scared of it, as that goes 20 feet past. This isn't some tentative lag at it, but even Trey trying to use the force wasn't enough to slow the ball down. Apparently, he's not a Jedi. So here we are again, trying to make a long putt to save par, which we miss. Now, I could get really frustrated at this point. The shots thrown away count is up to 3 through 5 holes, but we've hit 4 of 5 greens so far in really tough conditions. I was mostly wondering if my ball striking could compete at this level, and so far, I'm encouraged. The scores have got to improve though. The 6th is a short par 3, only playing around 145 yards with wind off the left and slightly hurting, according to the Tangent app. That pin is tucked way back right. It's a sucker pin for sure, so we're aiming at the middle of the green and working just to get a putt, which is a smart play. We find the surface. We're rewarded with another long putt, this time from 52 feet. One thing I underestimated as I prepared to play in these more prestigious events is because the tees are further back, we're playing at almost 7,000 yards, and especially on a day like this with the wind, I'm gonna have a lot of long lag putts, more than I'm used to. So the good news is I'm hitting greens. The bad news is these are not easy putts. We get this one inside 5 feet and cash it in. That's a good par. The 7th hole is a long par 5, but we have the wind screaming now behind us. The hole gets narrow with native grass hazard that cuts in on the left-hand side. So I'm taking on the fairway bunkers on the right as the lesser of the 2 evils. We pipe this one 316 yards right down the middle, perfectly executed. Now that leaves a little over 210 yards in, a 5-iron. Not my favorite club in the bag, to a well-protected green. I'm trying to thread the needle between the bunkers, but a greenside bunker in 2 wouldn't be the worst outcome. The key is to commit to the swing and get a good strike. But I catch this slightly on the toe, and this is one of those bad tournament breaks. It lands in the fairway just right of the left bunker, and it takes a ridiculous bounce over the bunker into the hazard on the left. I don't feel like I deserved that, but golf's not about what you deserve, it's about what you can take. It's time to fight. I take a drop, and now I'm trying to get up and down just to save par, and it's not the easiest up and down either. The wind is wild, you can see that flag whipping, but I take care of business here. Now that's what good players do, they save par. But with a penalty on one of the easiest holes on the golf course, we'll count that as my 4th throwaway shot. Look, some real talk. It's dangerous to start counting throwaway shots. Golf is hard, you're always going to be able to count shots that you missed. Rarely do we have a clean card. However, when you're trying to gauge your potential and if you belong, like I am in this case, knowing that you had easy throwaway shots that you can work to eliminate builds confidence on what your potential is. And that's exactly what the Tangent 4 is doing in the Tangent app. It tells you your potential so that you can work on eliminating low-hanging fruit. And through 7 holes, we have 4 shots that are pretty low-hanging fruit. If you want stats like in the Tangent app, you can use promo code GOODMISS for 20% off and start improving today. On to the 8th. The 8th is a par 3 over water. The wind is whipping off the right. It's 180 yards to the pin, but I need to favor a little long to take that bunker out of play. So I hit a solid 6-iron. The wind helps it draw back, but not quite enough, so I end up in the fringe, which with the devilish greens sets me up pretty well for a Texas wedge. I snuggled pretty close. That's 4 feet, and it's probably better than I would do with a wedge, but these are putts you have to make, and I don't. Watching it back, I either pulled it or it was a gross misread. I wouldn't remember. But luckily, Tangent does. I enable putt detail so I can track my green reading, and I logged that putt as a pull. Under pressure, tournament putt, I dead pulled it. Had it read right, missed it left. That's my 5th shot given away in 8 holes. You have to make the easy up and downs. You have to make 4-footers if you want to qualify for the Mid Am. So far, I haven't got that done. The 9th hole is a little bit of a reprieve. It's not as long. It's a better wind for me off the right, and there's no big trouble. Other than some sparse trees and native grass, you can swing away. And swing away, I do. This was close to bounding down into the fairway, but now we have one of those awkward wedges from 115 yards with the ball above my feet. This was not a difficult shot, but it's also one I barely practiced. Does anyone else think it's ridiculous that all of our simulators and driving ranges are completely flat lies? Which is the only place you're ever gonna have that flat lie. As soon as you go on the golf course, that lie doesn't exist, but it's all we ever practice. More golf courses need to build sloped driving ranges. That would really help me. Rant over. That was awful. You can't chunk a wedge halfway there at this level, and if I don't get up and down, we might be looking at another thrown away shot. These short wedges are really difficult with the wind whipping, and I hit it to 15 feet, which is a pretty solid result, but I leave it short, and it's another bogey. That's 5 over on my opening 9 with 5 throwaways, and before you give up on this video, this is what it's all about. It's grind time. I've adjusted to the nerves, I've battled the elements, the ball striking is fine, I'm just not scoring. I was afraid I'd come out here and get blown away. Guys driving at 50 yards past me, sticking every wedge to tap ins, making me look foolish, but that's not what's happening. It's still just golf, and I can hang with these guys. There's a lot going on this 10th tee. My playing partner is planning to withdraw. He isn't playing well, and the pace, well, it hasn't been great. I let it distract me a bit as I hit one of my worst irons of the day into this greenside bunker, and after a 2-putt for bogey, it's time to reset. We're not gonna count that one as a throwaway because bad shots still happen. It's a tough par 3, but we are 6 over through 10 holes and a long way from qualifying at this point. The USGA repaired me for the last 8 holes, and it's time to settle in. The 11th hole is a toughie. Big dogleg right with water everywhere. That wind is whipping, and I need a good drive. And I hit a good drive, right down the middle. The second shot also has water and bunkers, and I mean, look at this view. That's a pretty cool shot. I hit another good iron that catches the slope and works its way down for a good birdie look from just 15 feet. Man, would I love a birdie about right now, especially after I got a preview of the line from a playing partner, but the putt broke quite a bit and I just miss. We don't get mad at easy pars. The 12th hole is a lot like the previous par 5, straight with native grass left. It gets really narrow in the landing area, but hey, driver is a strength of mine, and I pipe this. That's a big ball down the middle. That leaves right at around 190 yards with wind helping. I'm hitting 7-iron, and at this level, you have to be confident to hit par 5s in 2. And I do. One of my best shots of the day. We have 18 feet for eagle. That'll turn things around quickly. And while I just miss, it's my first birdie to get back to +5 and build some momentum with 7 to go. We had to wait for an extremely long time on the 13th tee box. It's windy, it's hot, the course is difficult. The USGA did a great job setting up the course and taking care of us with plenty of water, but this qualifier is a war of attrition. Right back into the wind here, making the 13th even longer. And despite a pretty good crack at it, I still have over 180 yards in from the rough. Not an easy shot. Ball's above my feet, and it's a 6-iron. But these are the types of shots you have to be able to execute if you want to qualify for the Mid Am. And execute, I did. I hit it to 12 feet. 12 feet for back-to-back birdies, that would get us going. But it doesn't even get there. Just a little too soft. I'm best when I putt aggressively, but nerves are getting in the way. They're real. The 14th is normally not the toughest of holes, but with the big tailwind, it's tough to choose a club. I know it's not driver, so I take 3-wood and hug the left. I want nothing to do with the large body of water that's on the right. Another good tee shot puts me in position A, just 100 yards away. But with the tailwind, I'm just totally uncommitted. That's another chunked wedge. And since we get up and down here, I won't mark it as a throwaway shot, but that should have been a decent look at birdie. And instead, it's scrambling for par. We make it, and we keep the momentum. We're running out of holes, and while at this point it's pretty obvious that I'm not going to qualify, it's important to finish the tournament. Take advantage of this experience and turn in the best score I can, so I'm still grinding over every shot. We hit the green, leaving it just inside 40 feet, and an elementary 2-putt later means an easy par. The golf is getting better. We like easy pars. This is the part of the course that the real players ate up. You have scoring opportunity after opportunity, and the 16th is no different. It's a drivable par 4 without much real trouble. I was tempted to lay back, but to be competitive in these things, you have to be comfortable playing aggressive when it makes sense, and so I smash a driver to pin high left. This left a slightly awkward pitch. I have to go over a bunker from a bit of a hanging lie dead into a strong wind as you see that flag whipping, and I hit a good one to 6 feet. You want to be a player? You make these putts. The hard work is done, but I don't play enough break. I miss it low, and I know we don't get mad at easy pars, but we're starting to get frustrated with them. Gotta start making more of these to play with the big boys. We'll mark that as a missed opportunity solely because you have to make birdies on drivable par 4s, particularly when you hit it as good as I did. We're still 5 over with 2 to play. The 17th starts making its way back to the clubhouse, has a big landing area, but there's water and slope, which makes it a tighter tee shot than it looks from the overhead. We hug the right-hand side for safety, and we bomb it into the wind here. That left me just 150 yards into a stiff breeze. Elevated green, water. This is a ball striking test with no bailout. I've worked hard, and now it's time to show that I can hit big shots. Anything on the green is good. And we execute again. Outside of a few chunked wedges, the irons have been better than typical today. I'm excited about the ball striking. And after a good 2-putt from 45 feet, we have just 1 hole left to see where we stack up. My nerves spiked on me surprisingly on the 18th tee. I'm even par on the back, we've battled, and I want to end on a high note. There's out of bounds right, and so I hit a bit of a safe one here, but we favored the correct side and we're in play on this par 5. In fact, we have only 240 yards with a good lie in the fairway. I would normally lay up from here. It's a really tough shot to an elevated green with trees and bunkers, but I felt at this moment I had to prove something to myself. I had to prove that I can hit big shots. I had to prove that I belonged in this qualifier, so I went for it. And I hit one of my best approach shots in the tournament. I'm on the dance floor and I have 18 feet for eagle to shoot under par on the back 9 of a US Mid Am Qualifier. Let's go. It's 18 feet, it's downhill, it's downgrained, and I really want to make this putt. So much so that I never really looked at what happens past the hole. And what was past the hole was a very big slope. And I made myself kind of look like an idiot here. I had almost a longer putt for my second than I did for my first. Just a careless mistake, trying to make the eagle. We complete the 3-putt par and add the 6th throwaway stroke to the score today. I finish at +5 for the qualifier. Is that where I want to be? No, but it was my first time playing in an event of this caliber. And when I walked on the first tee, I felt like an imposter, surrounded by former college athletes. But when I walked off the 18th green, I felt like I belonged. I shot a 77 on a really tough course in really strong winds against a stacked field. I finished in 52nd place out of well over 100 players. I had 3 3-putts, 1 penalty, and a recovery shot, in addition to multiple chunked wedges that are not normal for me. I threw away 6 shots on some pretty elementary items, largely because I was nervous. I know ifs and buts don't actually get me to -1, and even then, it took -4 to qualify. So I have a long way to go, but it's closer than I thought. So it's time to get back to work. Next time on The Good Miss.